Splitting Hairs Podcast.
Welcome to the Splitting Hairs Podcast. It's the Friday Night Football edition on Sunday. Appreciate all who will be joining or are already here for adapting to our schedule. You know, we got big hit things to tend to this week, so we wanted to go live right after that instant classic. But before we dive into that, let me shout out our sponsor. The title sponsor of the pod, back-to-back years for us, is the Wild Hair of Brookings, South Dakota. Want to shout them out because they're running everyday happy hours from 3 to 7. But all day on Tuesdays and Sundays. That's today. The NFL is back, everybody, and it is wild. Already starting off with a bang. 2 NFL Jacks going at it head-to-head today. Mason McCormick and Isaiah Davis. Mason came out on the good side today in what was also an instant classic between the Steelers and the Jets. So make sure you catch those games all Sundays, all-day happy hours at the Wild Hair. Just to give you a refresher, $3 Wild Island iced teas on Thursdays. Fireball Fridays, shots are $3. That is not today. That is Friday. $1 tequila shots Friday only. $4 double wells Wednesdays and Fridays. Game day specials on Saturday are $10 buckets of domestics, $22 buckets of seltzers, only during the Jacks games. Appreciate them for backing us. As always, gentlemen, it's good to talk shop. How are we feeling on Victory Sunday?
You know, it's a great day when Brent Vegan's feeling like shit on a Sunday. I love it. Nothing makes me happier than that. I watched his press game conference, maybe like his post-game press conference like 10 times. Oh, music to my ears. Just seeing him dejected, it just made my day.
Love it. Doing his due diligence for the pod. That's for you. That's for you fans out there. How we feeling, Scott?
Physically, I'm a little dehydrated. I had a bachelor party here this weekend over by White, South Dakota. And, we're rehydrating now. Watched the game there last night, and the place went nuts. It was awesome. Feeling a little bit under the weather, but it's all self-inflicted. I have no one to blame but myself.
Taking accountability. That is
exactly
what we're going to be talking about today. Scotty, we appreciate that, sir, because you are gritty, just like this Jacks football team.
That's right.
They made a ton of mistakes. Maybe you made some as well at that bachelor party. Hopefully none other than drinking a little bit too much.
No,
but, that's all we got to do, right? So,
yep.
B. Will, now it's your turn. How you feeling?
Anytime the D-line plays like that,
Whew.
It's like going to church twice on the weekend, baby. It felt great.
That's right. You got that soul food in you after that chain gang ate.
Oh.
Listen, now we want to address a couple things because now we got a little bit bigger of a body of work, albeit a tiny sample. We've got 2 games in. If you look at our opponents thus far, obviously the Oregon game against Montana State was very difficult to gauge. And then we got to see firsthand Saturday night what we were up against. Shifting to Sacramento State, they went toe-to-toe with Nevada, right? And Nevada is obviously a group of 6, nothing to write home about, but albeit 20-17 contest between Sacramento State and I believe they call them, they're not the Lobos. I think they're also the Lobos. So
Wolfpack.
Regardless, Wolfpack. They're not relevant enough since Colin Kaepernick's not there anymore to really know. But I do want to shout out their legendary coach for creating the pistol offense. It's my favorite. But I'm getting sidetracked here. The comp is there. So we're looking at a decent squad defensively, probably coming from Sacramento State. We saw a very strong defensive showing from Montana State this weekend. Looking across the valley, USD dropped one to Lamar, and B. Will and myself are going to watch UNT versus Washington State, and Lamar got blanked 51-0 by UNT. So we're going to get to see a lot of overlap in scheme, overlap in personnel that South Dakota State has shared, and then we have comp opponents to kind of look at moving forward here. as we transition into a little bit of the, I want to say, I'll just be blunt, the softer side of our non-conference schedule. So excited about all that stuff. Gentlemen, what are you thinking about, across the landscape of the Valley, USD stubbing their toe before we get into the goods?
I think that, for one, the Jacks winning this game is huge, and having a game that has this much playoff implications this early in the year is awesome to have, right? But you can't ride this high the rest of the year. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything you want is in front of you, right? You control your own destiny right now. You kick some ass, beat North Dakota State, you're looking at number 1 seed. And we're looking at, maybe if we don't drop any stupid games, you're looking at 2 seed at worst, right? So I just think the guys got it. And from the way they've been playing and the way that, I know Coach Jackson is and Coach Berge and the rest of the squad is, like, I know that they're thinking, like, we can't drop none of those dumb games like we would in, like, 19 or, like, before that, where you lose to a UNI or you lose to a Youngstown or something like that. Like, if they can stay away from that, like, the sky's the limit for this squad.
Or the ceiling is the roof, as Michael Jordan would say.
Dope. Yeah, you think about a lot of people were probably thinking that after 2 games, our most likely record was going to be 1-1, which would have been fine. But now 2-0 versus 2 quality opponents, 1 very good opponent. I mean, you just use these first 2 games as a springboard throughout the rest of the season, because we have so much leverage after winning that game last night.
100%.
As far as like playoff implications, it's just really good to get that one, because now that I lost my train of thought. It's week 1 for me. Now you just you got a little bit of not a relaxed part of your schedule, but now you made it through those first 2, and you can just really put your head down and go forward into the rest of the schedule.
No, for sure. I think you definitely have to look at it as a positive, because you got the 2 temp games out the way.
Yep.
Now we have Drake and Mercyhurst, and we shouldn't overlook them, but we should beat the shit out of them.
Yep.
Right. You got a transitional Mercyhurst coming up into the FCS subdivision, and you have Drake, which is a non-scholarship team that we have history with. It's a regional opponent. Obviously, shout out to them for continuing to schedule the Dakotas and schools from the Valley. But it'll be a good test for them. I mean, they did go and add Iowa State when we had our game canceled, now 9 years ago in 2017. They went up there and they almost beat Iowa State. So you never know what can happen on any given Saturday, right? But the boys have enough on film to go to work, and we'll get into a lot of the things they can continue to work on. But Scott brings up a good point. You capitalize on these 2 wins right off the rip. You know how hard it is, guys, to Stack and Brian, to win on the road, no matter who it is, right? Week in and week out in the Valley, but especially when you're going and playing in front of 20,000 crazy fans for their Gold Rush game, to get that done, and to get it done in Mountain Time, where it's behind the clock a little bit for us. It's a later game. I think the boys got back at like 5 a.m. today. Just think of the difference in mentality, the difference in mood when you're coming back and you're able to recover with that dub under your belt. It's just, it speaks volumes to the gritty, right? The grittiness of this team. Mm-hmm. And when you look at the Gold Rush games overall, they were 1-16 coming in terms of opponents, beating Montana State in their Gold Rush games. They are now 2-17. Those 2 wins coming by the hands of the Jacks. So very solid. I do think that is a rival. If you look at the criteria of rival, you want 2 teams to have actually won several contests. But in reality, I think they're now 1-6 against us in the last 7 games. So really, really good job getting it done. I know Brent Vegan is not happy about that, and I know Stack is elated. So, gentlemen, when we look at the box score, it didn't lend itself to our advantage in a lot of statistical categories in terms of, total yardage or any of that stuff. When you're trying to evaluate, productivity, when you look at the rush yards, they were 210 to our 107. In terms of passing, we had the advantage there, 190. We really shut them down, which was a key that we had coming in the game from the secondary. needing to step up. Everybody was, singing Taco Dowdle's praises, and he had 4 catches for 18 yards.
Mhm.
So incredible job shutting that down. And when you look at our overall yards per clip through the air, we're going at 11.2. Now, a lot of those, if we're just being frank, that's Lofton Ogroski.
Yeah.
It's a one-man wrecking crew, really. And I would love to see, although Chase did get about 6 different receivers involved, a lot of that bulk of the work is coming by the hands of Lofton.
Mhm.
So something to kind of keep an eye on as other guys look to step up and emerge as actual contenders to get some shared looks. When you see our total offensive yards, we went 297 to their 349. We ran 6 fewer plays, 65 to their 71. Obviously, we had 3 fumbles, 2 were lost. They had 2 fumbles, 2 were lost. From a punting perspective, just to run through the whole team stats here, we booted the ball. We absolutely boomed the ball. Pelham flipped the field several times. Obviously, there was a little bit of a debacle, but they can clean that up, and we'll get into that. But really doing a really nice job on that front. And our coverage units, aside from right before the half, were just flat out solid, I think, throughout the night. In terms of return game, love that we secured the rock. Isaiah did a great job of catching it and trying to get upfield, but really they did a good job on their coverage units. We got to get better in terms of creating lanes for our returners. But overall, that's kind of where we stood. Last little team stat here, I want to cover time of possession. When we did get it rolling, when we were playing ahead of the chains, we controlled the ball to the tune of 33 minutes and 5 seconds to their 26. So really solid overall. Possibly the most reassuring stat to come out of this game, we were 1 of 13 on 3rd down, and we won the game.
Mm-hmm.
That is absurd. That never happens. I would love to know. I would love to have
the time of possession.
Yeah, even with the time of
possession to be that high and that big of a difference on 1 of 13 on 3rd down is nuts.
Yeah, and even a lot of this goes to our red zone scores. We were 4 of 5 with 1 missed field goal. So really, we cleaned that up. We hit that field goal. We don't go into overtime, but they had a field goal they could have hit. If we just get the punt off, a lot of ifs. Mm-hmm. If ifs and buts were candies and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. So, but that's what that means. In terms of sacks, the last couple things here, they had 4. We had 3. Our D-line stepped it up to a crazy degree, and we left probably 2 to 3 on the field in terms of sacks, and their quarterback was quite good at being elusive, being slippery, and getting what he could. But, gentlemen, that's 11 sacks surrendered from our offensive line, which is probably a great place to start. 11 sacks from our offensive line through 2 games. What are we thinking about that?
So before we talk about this, right, it is Sunday, right? So it's Sunday. Reverend Thomas Stacker, I'm going to take you to church for 1 second, right? So if the congregation could turn with me to Galatians 4:16 before I say this, to preface everything. Have I now become your enemy because I tell you the truth? Right? And the truth is, our offensive line has to play better. Yeah. Bottom line, right? If it's because Chase is holding the ball or because of this or because of that, whatever it is, right? You're watching the game, dudes are getting cut loose. Like on that first 3rd down we had in the red zone where we had to kick a field goal because Chase got chased down. Someone just got cut loose, right? The guy celebrating like he's, he's the man. Like, he had $1 million move. Like, no, you just ran free to the quarterback. And I understand guys are young, and I understand, that's a really hard place to play. But like, if our coaches are putting you out there, right? Like, we're not putting you out there to be a freshman, right? We're not putting you out there to be a redshirt freshman or redshirt sophomore. We're putting you out there to be a starter, right? Because you're the best we got. So we're going to war with you, right? So if we're going to war with you, all that freshman stuff and all that, I haven't played a lot, like that's got to go out the window. Right. And like, as a guy on that offensive line, right? Like, you got to be upset that like we've let Chase get hit this much in the past 2 weeks. Right. This guy's been injured before. Right. Like, he's had an ACL injury. He was banged up last year. Right. And like, Chase just showed yesterday that he's a guy for us. Like, he can be that guy to take us to the promised land. Right. So like, any hits he doesn't need to take, because he's putting his body on the line. Like, he's running the ball 3rd and 4s. Like, he's lowering his shoulder. He's getting hit when he shouldn't, right? And like, I understand like he's holding on to the ball, but like, you got to take pride in that. Like, no, this dude can't get touched. Right. And like over the past 2 weeks, and I know we've seen good D lines. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, yeah, like you're letting these jamokes just come up here and smoke. I'm like, no, those are good D lines. But you guys are South Dakota State, right? You're the number 2 team in FCS, right? Like, that's got to mean something. The past decade, we've had multiple NFL guys on our offensive line starting for the past like 10 years, just about. Right. And now you guys are those guys. Like, we don't expect just because you're young that, all right, play's going to drop. Like, all right, they're not going to be as good as they were. Right. Because like, if we felt that way, you guys wouldn't have won a championship in 2022 or 2023. Right. It's always just reload. Like, that's just how it's got to be. All right. It's my speech. Sorry.
Not only that, but to add to that real quick, the thing that messes with my head the most is that Chase is not getting helped up as soon as he touches the turf. You know what I'm saying? Like, sometimes it's like he's just laying there. I'm like, go help him up if you give it up. Holy F word.
Holy nutmeg. Holy nutmeg.
Holy nutmeg. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
No, that's a great, because it's all about, how are you going to set your standard? It's not that we expect perfect play. Nobody should even expect perfect play from themselves. But if we want that standard of excellence to be maintained, obviously take care of your teammates. If you screw up, go get them up, and then play in the present, to use another Stigism. Play in the present, flush it, move on, right? To their credit, we had 2 holding penalties. Alpers, big physical blocker, do want to see more in the blocking game from the tight ends. Gannon is a weapon through the air. Want to see him step up in terms of his blocking, just with his physicality at the point of contact. And look, he was going up against some dogs. There's a reason they're on scholarship too. But we've set the precedent at South Dakota State that we can do both. We will do both, and we'll relish doing both, blocking and catching the ball through the air. When Alpers had his hold, it's a technical thing. It's not a physicality thing. You got your hands extended out. You sealed your man good. It was a good little run that we got, about 7-8 yards. It's coming back because we didn't execute our technique. Same thing with Q at left tackle. It was a smart football play. Look, we talked about that last week, so there's always a silver lining. We want to make smart football plays. He held a guy that had a free run on Chase. And again, it was just a technical thing. He got out of his stance a little bit slow. His shoulders got turned. He got beat off the edge. He made the right football play in terms of holding, but that sets us behind the sticks. And for a lot of the lay fans that are like, what are we doing in terms of creativity? We got to get the ball to Lofton. We got not just Lofton, but other guys. Well, when we're playing behind the sticks, your playbook shrinks like crazy. And you can't get off with same type of run looks that you could to stay ahead of the chains. So all those things kind of coalesce and make life difficult when you're talking about that standard of excellence. So great points by you fellas. Again, this should be something that they relish and they go, damn, we walked out of that punching number 2 in the mouth, getting it done when we needed to across the line, but leaving a lot on the field for us to improve on, right? That's all it is. I mean, if they want to be the best, man, this is one of the most athletic teams I've ever witnessed. I don't know about you guys, top to bottom, depth, a lot of these new guys rolling in, which we'll talk about on the D line. And
we got to say, like, and trust us, like, if we say stuff like that because, like, we want you guys to be great, right? Like, we're not gonna ask like some bums to be like, yeah, dude, you guys need to not let him get touched. We say that because you're capable of it. We've seen it. Like, I've seen flashes of it, right? So I'm like, we all want to go to Nashville. You know what I'm saying? Right. I know you guys would, like, the Jacks want to go to Nashville more than I do. So like, we're asking that stuff because like you are capable of it. I'm saying, like, now let's see it.
To your point about reloading, they've reloaded with better talent ever since even like I was there. Like, I am not the caliber of the tight ends there. I don't know about you guys. B. Will, you're still fresh out. Stack, you're basically fresh out. They've reloaded with better talent. It's just a matter of fact. So if we have reloaded with better talent, like we all see, let's correct our stuff, take ownership, accountability, which I believe they will, and move forward knowing we've left about 40 points total on the board both games this season. So good stuff, gentlemen. To that point, I got to eat some crow on Chase Mason. Now, I'm not trying to anoint anybody early, but my God, like, his mechanics are still what they are, right? He's conventionally baseball type mechanics when he throws. I've talked about that. But regardless of it, his velocity and sheer arm talent is some of the best I've ever witnessed. And we could talk about it on the game-winning throw that he flicked it over the linebacker and put it only where De La Hoya could catch it. But it's not just that. It's the fade to Lofton when he's, getting PI'd and he just rips it out of the air with one hand, and he put it only where Lofton could catch it. I mean, he threw it before Lofton was even in the complete phase of his fade route. This stuff is like top tier. And coming in, I think a lot of questions have been answered to this point of being on time and on schedule with his timing, making sure he's kind of throwing guys open, putting it only where his guys can catch it. Just really, really promising start, I think, from Chase Mason.
Yeah, I mean, you got to love how physical the guy is too. You know what I'm saying? Like that's, I think we've kind of been blessed in the last few years, like with Mark and him back to back, but like that's so not common, right? Like a quarterback will really just put his body on the line. Like we were talking about as the game was going on, I'm like, Chase, like he ready to die out there. Like he's ready to die for this win, and like that's the kind of guys you want to go to war with.
Word, Scott, what do you think? I'm the cook, Scott.
Good old Rot 69. Let the man cook, huh? Chase, he just watching the ball just absolutely just come out of his hand just like a laser beam. It really, watching it live last week was incredible, and watching it on TV, I mean, it's just as apparent just how he's putting it where he wants it. I've been impressed. Like, I don't know if like you've harped on it a lot about his throwing mechanics, but if it gets the job done, I guess it gets the job done. I mean, you hope maybe something that doesn't come back to bite you at some point, deep in the playoffs where, balls get batted down or something like that. But thus far, it hasn't hurt him at all. He's looked pretty impressive.
Yeah, no. And like to that point, it's because his decision-making has also been top tier. He's not trying to force the issue. He's not, trying to do too much. And the composure, I will say, we've talked about the O-line taking accountability. Really, everybody needs to take accountability for improvement. But their demeanor seems to be calm and unfazed in a lot of these high-pressure situations, man. Like even Big Bo's false start, when we're in a short yardage goal-to-go situation, it wasn't an anxious false start. It was I'm about to rock this guy. You could see it even in his get-off, right? Like he was just ready to just destroy his man across from him. So I think a lot, and then they were able to bounce back from that and overcome. So a lot of these things are really impressive in terms of their ability to kind of weather a lot of the emotional roller coaster that you would go through in an environment like that, in a game like that.
Well, I think we were also in 2022, we kind of expressed some of the same concerns with the O-line because there was a couple new guys. I think, it was at the Iowa game. We were just like, what are we doing? Like, I mean, and that's an outlier, but it's still a big environment like this last night. They're going to be good. I mean, it's still really early. So to get some of those things worked out, I think, by mid-season, you really got to think that they're going to be cooking with grease.
So yeah, man. By the time we get to the middle of our season, like I feel like that's why we're talking the way we are, because we kind of want to see that right now, right? Like I want to see mid-season form right now, because these dudes, they could be scary. You know what I'm saying? Especially with the way this defense is playing, I know me and Brian said it yesterday, but dude, top to bottom, I think Scott's the one that said he didn't want to say it, but it's probably the best I've seen a D-line at South Dakota State play top to bottom ever.
Yeah,
ever.
No doubt. And we'll deep dive into the defense. Just want to recap a little of the offense here. Julius ran for 23 attempts, 93 total yards, and then net 83. So want to see him eclipse the 100, 150 mark. Obviously, a lot of that's a function of us being behind the chains and his pants getting ripped off. What the hell? Under Armour.
2 pairs of pants. You need to put that on the stat sheet.
Zach was smiling so hard when that happened too. That shit was weird.
Hey, bro.
But, what I want to see, let's go ahead and Under Armour start to reshore Let's get stuff made in America. Don't be outsourcing it to low quality production. Let's go ahead and make sure our pants can stay on and withstand a couple tackles here and there, right? Damn, that was so bizarre. And that game as a whole had so many weird components to it. The 12 men on the field that they had, that was really a pivotal mental error on their part. Lofton, kind of a freak fumble where he's running his route right into a guy whose momentum carried his fist directly into the ball. Got to secure it, not an excuse, but just kind of strange. St. Juice doing what he needed to secure a fumble. And then, of course, Joe's like friggin' Rocky out there, batting the ball. Joe Ullman forcing a fumble again. So, like, just a lot of wild back and forth, missed field goals. Of course, the strangest rugby punt debacle we've seen in a long time. And, you know, just a wild game overall. Chase toted the rock 14 times for 52 yards, but a net of 34. A lot of that more so in scramble situations, short yards, not a ton of designed runs. Obviously, we want to get more of what we can with our whole RB unit, but Basinger only toted it 2 times. We do need to see a number 2 emerge more in the running game in terms of from the actual RB unit. So
honestly, I think that's what I'm most excited to see the next 2 weeks is the young guys getting reps and who plays well. That's what I mean. Let me take that back actually, because last year, Augustana, you know, we thought we were going to see that too. So by no means don't overlook anybody, but at the end of the day, this is when the young guys get the reps.
Yeah, no, this is a perfect segue because that's all about the reason that we're just talking accountability to start the pod. Because last year, I think those cats were going out there and it is a D2 opponent. You should essentially, on paper, be able to go out there and get it done. And they didn't. They kind of underestimated them, or the energy of the game all felt off for most of that. You can't take any opponent lightly. It doesn't matter because all it takes is some strange bounces, like on the punt, like on these different circumstances, and you're looking at, you know, playing behind. Look at Clemson Troy yesterday is a great example. Clemson was down 17 points to Troy at home. Like, come on, man. And literally a ball got batted in the air and Troy caught it and housed it in backed up situations. So
even worse than that, South Florida beat Florida. So I mean,
yeah, exactly. Well, South Florida looks pretty legit talent-wise.
Either way,
shouldn't have happened, right?
Yeah.
Like SEC school, group of 6 should never happen. So that's kind of the point there. And hopefully these guys do, to your point, get a chance to step up and actually earn some good playing time and emerge as guys we can trust moving forward as we get closer to Valley play. Through the air, Lofton Ogrowski, 12 receptions for 141 yards and 2 touchdowns.
That's a bad man.
That is
Jack, baby.
Good Lord. Like, we got to think of what we want to call him. The OG is good. I like that.
Yep.
I mean, he deserves all the nicknames right now. Because
Great White Hope. Because he's nice, bro. I can't get enough of watching that dude play.
Love it. And then De La Hoya, not a lot of looks, but when he needed it, he made it happen. 1 reception, 25 yards for a tug. We love it. Making tight end you come back a little bit in terms of the conversation. Got to get it done blocking, though. In terms of Alex Bullock, 2 catches, 12 yards. Want to see more from him. Didn't see a ton from him. I don't know what it was. Didn't get a chance to go back and look at some of the route combos to see if he was open. But again, could be a function of protection breakdowns and being off schedule. Grayton Gannon, first play of the game, 1 yard, nice stick route, 7-yard reception. Didn't go back to him. Graham Goring, again, got to show up. He's a senior. We know what he can do. 1 reception for 5 yards. So want to see more out of that unit. All right. Any other final thoughts on the offense?
From everything that we said, like, I also want them to know, like, dude, gritty, like, just the attitude of, like, forget everything that happened. Like, these guys were playing like they were in overtime for probably the last, like, 7 minutes of the game. And, like, that's what I respected about it, right? Like, mistakes were made, and they're like, okay, but, like, we got to get this done right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's something you can't really teach people. I can't lie. Like, and that's a quality that you want in a championship team, because like it truly felt like this game was never really over, right? Like even when something goes awry, and like I just want to say like that was respectable to see out of them.
But as we get into defense here, it did feel like for most of the game that the Jacks had control.
Yeah.
Right. Especially with what they were able to do defensively. A lot of their offense came from unstructured quarterback runs. And we've seen that before. And really, unstructured quarterback runs when he was literally about to be sacked. I'm not talking just sacked. We literally had hands on him multiple times. And he just got lucky due to flow and all that and got out. And he's a good player. So Justin Lamson, shout out to you. But he took some shots as well. When we look forward into the defensive numbers here, in terms of individual statistics, definitely want to shout out Cullen. I think it was Seth Meyer, listener of the pod, shouted out Cullen McShane was going to be his player of the game. He certainly was, if not the player of the game, one of them. 9 solo tackles, 2 assists, 11 total tackles, and 1 QB hit. But he had a massive defensive recovery play late in the game when the guy he was carrying beat him deep. Good ball was put out there, and he got his hands in it, disrupted it, made probably the play of the game at that point. Joe Ullman, second on the team in tackles, 7 solo, 1 assist, 8 total, and, of course, the big force fumble that we were able to recover with a QB hit sprinkled in there. Jay Lee had 5 tackles. Don't love seeing our safeties with that many tackles, but, again, with what they were doing in the run game, dinking and dunking in the pass game, nice to see him do what he needed to do. Kobe Brett's 3 tackles, 1 assist, 4 total, and so on down the line. Chase had 4 in 1/2 a play, as well as a fumble recovery. So shout out CBT, beautiful there. And then Dawson Ruperta showing up in the stat sheet. Let's get into the sacks.
Logan Green, I know he's in there.
Yep.
Two of them. Knowing the stats guy, it probably only gave him 1.
Logan Green had 1.5 sacks.
Well, 3.
Okay, that's fair. 1.5, yeah.
1.5 sacks for 13-yard loss. Like, he came up big. Goring had a sack as well. Shout out to him. USF transfer linebacker showed up big in certain moments, especially that one with his sack. Flew in there like a bat out of hell and put the wood on Lamson. And then we also had a sack. Mason Brossows registered with a sack. I thought Kobe had one as well.
I thought he was on the half with
Logan,
wasn't he?
Right, with Logan. Yeah. Yep. So really good stuff out of the unit. Again, man, if we could have gotten home on a couple more times, Kobe again was just absolutely eating. Like, if he stays healthy, nobody's gonna really have an answer for him, man.
And the Logan, effort, bro.
Nobody outmotors him. Nobody. And his swivel, his dip and rip, his pad level, his body bend, just elite. You guys are D linemen.
That's the thing too, because if the center slides to Kobe to help that, then you got Logan, his big strong ass one-on-one. So
yeah,
and like
Logan's been bending people.
So you got to shout out. Like, I was watching, and I mean it's weird because like obviously like being older and stuff and like knowing these guys when they're younger, like. Even dudes like Wolfkill, who's more of a finesse guy. Like I saw a couple plays yesterday where like he was on the zone side and like he was really pushing back the guard and the center at the same time, getting them in the quarterback's face. I'm like, bro, what does Coach Logan have these dudes up to? Because like he had them playing inspired yesterday. Well, the whole season so far.
Right. Yeah. 100%. It was fascinating to me when you look at it. A lot of the secondary success obviously benefits from a good rush and vice versa, but our safeties played well. Jaden Oliver obviously doing what he needed to do to shut down Taco Dowdle. It was crazy to me to see the pundits out there that I think maybe just take a glimpse of FCS ball and then want to weigh in and have opinions. But on the Hack City pod with Joe DeLone and his boy, they were saying that nobody has an answer for Taco Dowdle, and he was going to eat on us, and he firmly believed he was going to be on the stage in Nashville with Lamson. Guys, pay attention to the style of defense the effort, the energy that South Dakota State, other Dakota schools play with, man. It's a different level. And these boys showed up with a fury and took it personal, I think. And it was just a treat to watch. I do agree with Stone's take post-game. He was there with FCS Nation and Kevin. His take, he said this is the best 605 unit he's ever seen and all that. I think we have an elite offensive line, but I would just flip that. This was the best top to bottom D-line performance I've seen, because even in the run game, they were shutting them down and not creating lanes. So when push comes to shove, the chain gang ate on Saturday, and what really contributed to putting us in a position to win an overtime game.
You
Well,
talking
just
about like
absolutely stonewalled them. Like
a defensive line's dream, dude. Like 4th and 1, like game's on you and you stuff it. Like, bro, like you can't write a like. I'm sure Logan Green couldn't write a better ending to that game for himself. Like that was awesome. So fun to watch.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you love D-line, if you love defense like that, it don't get better than that.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to shout out, and we were texting about it through the game. You could tell Coach McCormick is a C9 disciple. Coach Christian out there at Northwestern, that's where he came from. And these boys were they're ready. They're ready and prepared. Same thing with Coach Berge, man. That defense called a hell of a game. That defense was there time and time again when we needed to, and the offense wasn't able to muster what they needed to. Our linebacking core just phenomenal, top to bottom, man. Like the physicality. They're flying around, and we're watching the production, and we're seeing guys like Bryce Johnson dive over piles and get a little extra in there, which may have gone either way on the flag, but it didn't. And just that they're hungry, man. These young guys are hungry, just like we talked about, which you love to see. And stepping up in a situation when one of your best linebackers didn't even play the first half.
Yeah, also like depth-wise, right? Like I think like you got like Nick Wells getting in there, and kind of like when Reese went down, Nick Wells came in right away. It was, I think he made like a TFL, like his first play in or something like that. And I think, and you look at Ruperta going down like effort plays down the field, like 10 yards down the field, making a tackle on the quarterback when he breaks out of there. Like the effort these dudes play with is like some of the best I've ever seen.
Yeah, that's the thing about him too, is his motor is always on go. That's why it's both ways. That's why he kind of jumped early on that 4th and 6 or whatever. But if you look at the play before, I think Kyle said it. It's because he just messed up the tackle the play before.
Yeah. And not to mention, next man up mentality is something that people talk about a lot, but we saw it exhibited front and center on Saturday night when he's probably our best all around and pro potential D lineman in Reese Kirschman goes down early in the game, and we didn't miss a beat. Mm-mm. I know he was bummed because he probably would have had a feast in some of these passing situations, but hopefully he can bounce back. It looked just speculating. You guys are D linemen, look to be something like a shoulder, hopefully not a pec, but hopefully it's something that we can put some tape on and get him out there.
And we have options too. It's not like Kubi can't go outside and play 5 tech. Right. We've seen it all last year. He was an all-conference player.
Which is crazy. Great. Like, bro, nuts that this dude, you put this guy on the edge and he will cook dudes that are like a foot taller than him. With like, I don't know. I don't even know how he did that last year.
No. Yeah, just pretty stellar to watch. In terms of us being bumped and bruised, right? Like that was a physical knockdown, drag out game. It is nice that we are going to have some time to make decisions as far as our depth chart, what we want to do rolling into this game, right? Do we even need to roll Reese back out there? Can we give him some time? How about, other guys out there that might've gotten nicked and bruised? What are we looking at there on that front?
Yeah, I'd like to see us really just take care of business first 3 drives. Mm-hmm. Go and skunk them and then get the boys in there. Obviously, not overlooking people, but like if you guys play up to your potential and take care of business, like, and I really don't foresee like this squad thinking like that because last year you had a lot of guys who played on those national championship teams and were kind of like used to that. Like these dudes haven't tasted that yet, so like they'd be looking like they're out for blood on anybody. Like if they were playing against the Brookings Bobcats, I think, Cullen McShane and all these guys be trying to kill those little ass kids. But I mean, if they go out there and
Simmons Junior High is Coach
Simmons Junior High. They take care of business on these first drives. Like, bro, let the boys rest and let's see those young guys get in there and get some work in.
Which is a point of note. We do need to see what we have in our backup quarterback situation, right? We do want to get some good reps because if we are going to call upon Chase to run in structured situations, we want to see what the other QB room talent has so that we can obviously look at them on film and then see what we can project moving forward. Because, this is Chase's last year and we need to get those guys reps. So excited to see how that kind of takes shape on Saturday. Again, Drake is an opponent from the Pioneer League, the non-scholarship league out of Iowa, I believe Des Moines, where they hail from. Scotty, do you have any insight into old Drake?
Not really. Growing up in Iowa, you knew the Hawkeyes, you knew the Cyclones, and you sort of knew the Panthers, but no one really cares much about Drake. Sorry.
Man, don't let Ray Gronowski hear you say that.
Yeah, well, sorry, Ray.
Their head coach is coming over from Grandview, though, right?
Oh, yeah.
They just won the national championship last year.
So, I mean, they could be kind of on an upswing because, I mean, when's the last time that Drake was like really a solid, contender in that league? I'd have to look. But
I think 22. They won the league and then went to Fargo.
So it's been a few years, yeah. Yeah.
So when we look at their schedule this year, they're 1-0. Mm-hmm. They played Upper Iowa. So again, I believe Upper Iowa's NAIA.
Yeah,
so
they are.
Their schedule's quite interesting. They go to Brookings and then they go to Vermilion back-to-back weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be a test for them. Certainly they have a new coaching staff rolling in there from Grand Valley, as Brian mentioned, which is obviously a powerhouse up in Michigan, the Lakers. And they are, pull it up here for you. Joe Woodley is their head coach, offensive coordinator, Kyle Kempt. The big thing about these Pioneer schools is they're not going to have the depth, right? So if the first stringers can't get it done, Brian, you played them in 2023 at Target Field. So there might be some similar talent on the roster. What did you think when you played them? Like what should we look at? What did they do well?
Honestly, they actually ran quite a few screens that actually kind of hit a little bit. But honestly, it's different coaching staff. You don't know what worked well, what worked different.
In terms of talent, offensive line-wise, I mean, they didn't look small, but what was the kind of makeup of their effort, their scheme?
I mean, they were decent. I don't want to disrespect anybody. I mean, they were playing Division I football, even though it was non-scholarship, but there's definitely a gap in talent.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, tough to preview an opponent like this. I like regional opponents just because it's like easy on everybody. Maybe they'll travel a bit more, but I don't like the fact that we have non-scholarship D1 schools that we continue to have to. We're forced into scheduling, is what it looks like,
Well, shoot, I think we play them about 2 times every 3 years, don't we?
Right. Them and Butler, it seems like.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so it'll be fascinating.
And with the transfer portal too, there's a lot of kids who went out of high school that wanted to play.
Perfect timing for Rott to weigh in with his point. Yeah, Brian's probably being PC here, but it is Sunday. So. Well, gentlemen, that's Drake, but we can get into some of the more interesting stuff here in terms of NFL Jacks stuff going on. It'd be nice to sprinkle in some NFL Jacks coverage. I've watched some games. Thought Mason looked really sharp today for the Steelers. Really only one time there was some seepage, but it really wasn't even on him. It was Quinnen Williams' brother. I always mess up Quincy Williams. Their parents definitely not making it easy on themselves in terms of when they get upset calling those names out. But he did a great job. Aaron Rodgers, people thought he was toast and washed, and threw for 4 TDs today. It helps when you got DK Metcalf, and Austin stepped it up big, and really just a fun game to watch in terms of highly contested competition. And, Justin Fields did well too today.
Yeah, well, I was kind of surprised at that. I mean, they were cutting him loose and letting him run a little bit on some of those plays, which I did appreciate. Bears couldn't do that for him, RIP, but
Yep.
Tucker had a touchdown for the Packers.
Tucker had a touchdown for the Packers. They're moving him around really well. He is poised to have an extremely breakout season, even coming off of a previous season where he broke out.
I feel like he gets more athletic every year too.
Somehow,
which is insane to say.
It's wild to watch because Josh Jacobs today wasn't really getting it going on the ground. You know who had the leading rush for them? Tucker Kraft on an end around, 4-yard rush, getting some. Sorry, just looking at some of these comments, just going crazy. Just getting what he needed to, and I love the way they use him. They split him out. They split him out wide. They motion him in. They shift and trade him. Shout out to their coaching staff. Matt LaFleur is incredibly creative. And shout out to Amar for getting signed to the practice squad of the LA Chargers, who dominated the Chiefs, in my opinion, on Friday night in Brazil. You guys catch the Travis Kelce celebration?
No.
Wow,
so
getting slapped though.
Dude, I didn't see it. Speak on it.
I didn't see it.
Dude, there's the D tackle, and he posted on Instagram too. He slapped Travis Kelce's ass after the play. The shit was crazy. And then he put something too swift with it, even in Brazil.
Damn.
That's crazy.
Shots fired.
That's crazy.
No, but I was referencing, so Kelce scores a touchdown, right? And he puts his hands up like a bull, and then he does the getting ready to charge type thing with his feet. And dudes are like, does Travis Kelce think that he's in Spain? And I was like, it doesn't really matter because good thing his wife can support him financially, right? So at the end of the day, but man, it's just great to have football back as a whole, both the pro level and the collegiate ranks. And then when you take a look at Dallas Goedert and what he was able to do, I think he had several catches against Dallas. Pull it up here.
Brian, you see Stallbird's suplex today?
Yeah. That dude cracks me up, dude.
Speak on it.
Dude, it was on special teams, ran down.
Literally.
just picked him up. He
didn't even have to do that.
So the Saints took care of business, I think, right?
No, they lost. I think they lost 2013.
They lost. Yeah,
they
close.
did. Man. So Stallbird showing up on special teams, getting any run at was he getting any run in the actual defensive looks?
I think he got in on some nickel, but not.
Yeah, it's like a special package, but it's like a package for him though, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
so,
that is cool. I want to shout out Isaiah Davis got some run too, and he's like the third rep back going in there. And he had some nice runs, a couple before half, some touches. Want to see him get a little bit more run. But Breece Hall did really well today too. Obviously his carries are going to be more limited, but really exciting stuff. I did see Christian Rosewoom all over the field. Not surprising to anybody in the Panthers game. They did take a big L to the Fighting Travis Hunters out of Jacksonville. So interesting to see that team's talent, but he was making his presence known left and right. Tackles at the line of scrimmage, obviously stuff in the run, pass game. Trevor Lawrence was able to kind of get what he wanted, and they got what they wanted. It's just going to be tough for Carolina, right? Top to bottom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I will say this, it could look good for another NFL Jack this year in terms of Super Bowl implications because Micah Parsons is now in the NFC North, and currently I know that they were putting it on the Lions, just making life miserable for them in terms of third downs and whatnot. So pretty crazy. Tuck could be hoisting the Lombardi.
Yeah, that would make me too happy. I'm a Bears fan. And Aubameyang, man, Tuck, man, if you get paid, go and do that, man. Go and do your thing.
I'm a Vikes fan, bro. It's tough. It's tough out here. Hoping to see Stallbird. It'll be great, man. It'll be great to see him continue to emerge. Just what he's able to do in preseason continues to up his game. And couldn't happen to a better guy. I know he's real tight with Brian, and I got a chance to meet him this summer at your wedding. It was pretty cool to hear him just talk about culture and coming from a championship culture in Brookings and trying to carry some of that mindset into the league with him in terms of galvanizing his teammates. Because it's a business at that level.
You know what we should do, though, before we get off is just look around the valley. Can we just shout out USD real quick? Nothing's ever better than seeing the Blues. I don't know.
Dude.
Especially to Lamar, which maybe they're on the come up, but that's a bad loss.
I was like,
bro,
who is that?
Lamar could be on the come up, but did you hear me start off the pod? They got blanked 51-0 by UNT.
Yeah, that's
so
bad.
We'll tell you how good UNT is this weekend.
They're not. They're not that.
As they take on the Fighting Jimmy Rogers of Washington State. So excited to support, some former Jacks. And right now, both sides are eating, right? So there's enough to go around. I'm excited to see some of the former Jacks. I know they're showing up, especially defensively. Juice, Matt Durance, he had a hell of a first game.
Max Balloon had a sack last night, too.
He did.
Nice. Yeah. Good for him. I saw Kirby. Kirby's looking explosive. He's looking like he fits in that run game better than the other backs that they've got. Definitely Franzel is all over the damn field. Really encouraging to see him bounce back from what seemed like a hellacious injury last year. But what a wild man to line it up and come back out there. It does sting a little bit to see some of the talent, the younger talent that left to go out there and then they're balling. But, hey, that's the nature of the business now.
Polano's nasty.
Yep.
Watching him on tape. Which is crazy because even though we lost him, it's like the boys didn't miss a beat.
That's what's crazy.
Yeah, so really promising opportunities to put a cap on this bad boy. The Jacks are trending their stock. You better buy it now before it gets super high. Really, really love that we're back home for the next couple. Really, really love the shift in competition and kind of get some young guys reps. Want to see play calling improve, right? Play calling improve in the red zone. Even though the scripts are looking good early. I love the creativity. Got to shout out Coach E. He has some serious stones. Calling a double pass in overtime is the first play. Like, good grief, man. That's wild. So, we're going to leave it all out there when you see that kind of stuff. And obviously still trying to find an identity, right? Are we going to be a, balanced team, run the ball team? Is it more air raid because we trust Chase and we want to continue to let it rip? Just really good stuff. And probably last thing to say here, this team looks like they really care about one another. I know people say that stuff, but what they went through in the offseason to lose a teammate, man, overtime ain't shit when you are talking about missing one of your brothers, right? Yeah. And pretty special stuff for them to kind of bounce back and rally around that. So final thoughts, man.
Hey, man. It's always a good day when you get a dub and Brent Vegan's crying into his coffee this morning. So,
Amen. You got anything, Scotty? You gonna cook?
Yeah, it's just it's such a good feeling knowing that you weren't expected to win and you walk out of there with a dub, and now you're just looking for the next one next week. So it's nice to have that 0 at the end of your record for sure.
Weren't expected to win. Should have beat the shit out of them. Let's just be honest.
Right.
Really should have. 1 of 13 on third down is kind of hellacious.
Yeah.
Definitely have to execute on third downs better. O-line can definitely play better. So once the offense meets the defense and we're all moving in the same direction, good luck to the Valley. So
and they're going to be damn near invincible.
Amen. And we're in the driver's seat for a good-looking seed, right? That's where you want to be, because if history has taught us anything, the road through Brookings is a lot better than the road through anywhere else. So Gentlemen, always a pleasure. Great to knock this out on a Sunday. We will not be back this Friday because we had to knock this out due to travel. But we appreciate y'all who spent time with us and weighed in. Can't wait to do it every Friday during the season. We're going to be on talking shop, recapping the previous game, previewing the week. Check out our social handles. We're dropping the bits with Scott Stack and Brian. That's just quick segments and quick hits of what we're keeping an eye on in the upcoming week. And also, shout out to Cottonwood Coffee. I do the Mad Minute Monday segment with them. That's fun to put together. And shout out to the Wild Hair. Get in and take advantage of their all-day happy hour on Sunday as you watch NFL games. If you're not getting to the Dana, make sure you go have a beverage or two there and stay responsibly wild. And with that, gentlemen, go big, go blue,
Go Jags.
Jags.